welcome to Pick a Card. As you can see, we have 4 piles of cards here. If you haven't done Pick a Card before, I'll just explain quickly. We're going to be doing this reading with Thoth Tarot cards and with a Oracle Bone card. These are ones I've made myself, and underneath that you can't see, we're also going to be using a rune. So you'll see as we go through the process how all those are work together. There's 4 different piles. Now these are all actual objects that I use in my workings, and I'll explain the symbolism of each one quickly. This is a ring given to me by my grandfather, and this object and the associated cards can be used for questions relating to career and family. Career or family, or a family business, things like that. Here we have, this is called a sentigi. This is a particular type of wood that's often used for ritual purposes in Indonesia, and this particular one is used for reflexology. This was given to me by one of my teachers, and this will be matters relating to physical or mental health. And now here we have a small medicine pouch and prayer beads given to me by 2 of my teachers. These relate to matters pertaining to spirituality or personal spiritual life. And finally, we have the tiger eye bracelet, and this was given to me by a lovely, friendly stranger. So this relates to general fortune in life. So go ahead and pick which card, which object best suits you personally. I'll give you just a moment. Now once you've chosen your card, you can go ahead and find the timestamp that corresponds to your own reading, so you don't have to wait for the other ones. And we'll be starting with matters pertaining to personal life or career. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is a bit of struggle. Perhaps you feel in a situation a bit of difficulty, as if you're working against kind of larger odds, or it could be as if fate is not exactly going your way. If this was a home situation, it could just be that there are some family members, or there's a family situation that is in a way out of your control, or if it's a career, we could just have a work situation that's basically just something you're not able to scale and defeat all on your own. Princess of Swords is coming up, and here we have the Earth of Air, and I tend to associate my own cards with the 4 immeasurables of Buddhism, which I could explain later, but I would associate these 2 elements: the idea of equanimity for the swords, and the idea of joy for the princess. So, as you can see, the princess is having trouble scaling the mountain, because joy usually needs to be grounded in the earth, and she's facing air, this concept of equanimity. So without the grounding, she has trouble scaling. There's not enough for her to grasp onto here. But the good news is that we have the Science card coming up. You're using all of your faculties of reason. You're using all of the best resources at your command. So you're not struggling in vain. You're doing the best that you can. You're working hard and you're moving up. There's just There's just a situation here that's a little bit difficult for you to surmount. Also, our Three of Wands, virtue is also nice. This is another good sign. So I get the feeling here of we have an individual, we have a mind who is using everything they can to move forward, to scale the mountain. But there's just a situation that's just making it difficult to scale that mountain at this time. You have all of your virtue. What I mean here is your house is in order. Science, this is supporting that idea. Your house is in order mentally, but you're just having trouble establishing yourself. Okay. So let's see what comes next. And this is the situation that's you're coming into right now. Okay. As we can see, our Oracle Bone card here is called Fate. Now you'll notice I tend to interpret these in an intuitive way for the tarot, for the Oracle Bone cards, and for the runes. I'll interpret them more intuitively than based on science. They're based on my own visions and my own experience with these symbols and these archetypes. In this context, I'm looking at the mountain you're scaling is fated to be there. Look, the mountain is there, the rivers are flowing down. Here we might have a field next to it. Just free form interpreting here. The situation is set up. So what it means is you're in a situation where karma's in play here. Okay? Karma's in play. Fate is at play. So if you're having trouble in a temporal sense here, a temporary sense, please don't be hard on yourself, because sometimes things just are the way that they are. Okay? And the situation that you're coming into, just going to move these up. The situation that you're coming into okay, things are looking good. So, in a way, in your struggle here, please don't worry, because you will reach the top of the mountain. That's what I'm seeing here. Now, if it's career, I should say, don't expect that it's just a pot of gold right away, because we have these aces here. In fact, we have 3 cards labeled with a 1. This is interesting. So we're not talking about something that is already established. We might be talking about inspiration. We might be talking about the path for things to get better. Okay? So we're probably talking more in context of maybe you do get the new job that you're looking for, but you're going to have to start that job. The whole path that's ahead of you still is ahead. This is not the final, what's coming up here in the near term. But just remember, we're talking about your struggle is to deal with karma, to deal with fate. So just be confident that what's coming ahead here, it is positive, and it is a way out. This is interesting. In the position of the science, we have this translating into the wizard, the magus. So all of this skill, whatever it is, it could be diplomacy, negotiation, business skills, and of course, as you know, we use diplomacy and negotiation in the home life quite a bit. All these things will start to be coming into fruition. So by giving it some time, watching fate play out, your science that you are using now to sometimes it may seem to no avail, this is going to turn into the ability to use that science. the ability to create, to sing the song of creation yourself. Okay, so those skills are not going to waste. And Ace of Cups here, now you're moving into the root of water. And in my associations, this is associated with love. So in terms of family life, we could be looking at a good resolution to some sort of struggle that might be going on right now. Or in terms of work, this could very easily be a new job. This could be a new position or a new project. And your virtue is paying off here as well. It's turning into the root of earth. And in my associations, this would be joy. So you are getting that joy you were looking for. Your virtue is turning into joy. So some of those sacrifices that you've gone through, that striving that you've done, it is starting to pay off. Okay, so just remember, all good things will come to those who wait. This is an issue to do with fate, to do with your life in a broader context. A lot of karmas are playing out right now. So we just move these up again. And our final card is going to be the tool that you can use as you go through this process. Now I'm looking at it for the first time. We have Isa, ice. Okay. Now, in this context, I'm seeing the ice as just keep your cool, okay? The frozen peak is melting into the river and it's filling the cup. Keep your cool. The process is working. The process is working. In family, keep your cool. Stay aloof. As this Princess of Swords, you have this quality of equanimity. It's inherent in you right now. Keep that equanimity, okay? You may think that staying a bit removed, a bit aloof, not worrying about the results is not the right thing because you have to go out there and push. But look, don't fight fate. Use that quality of equanimity to keep your cool, okay? Because it's coming, alright? Stay cool like ice. Cool and strong, and ice is going to turn into this Ace of Cups. It's turning into the source of the power of water, and that is going to be love. So keep your cool. Stay a bit removed. Stay a bit unaffected. Let that ice naturally melt, and let's just let the process play out in terms of your work or your family. So I'll show one more time if you want to take this. Okay. So this is where you're going. So don't worry, even though the struggle seems really difficult now, let your karma play out. Everything flows downhill. The ice melts into the river. And there we have career and family. Okay, next up we have healing, mental health, and physical health. Okay. You're fired up now about something. You're inspired about something. Maybe you're lusting after something. You're riding some really strong primordial energy. And that can be a great thing. Okay. Now in the context of that, you may be happy, you may be satisfied. So I hope that means that physically and mentally you're doing well right now. You're in good shape. But changes are coming. And if you're having any difficulty, it may be that these changes have already started. You may be apprehensive about the changes. But the good thing that's strong here is you have this fiery, strong strength guiding you forward. Let's see what you're coming into. Stasis.
Danger.
Okay, stasis can be good. Stasis can be a great thing sometime. Sometimes if you're really fired up, it could look like something you don't want to experience. But remember, this is all just flow. That's where our change was going. We were all fired up. Things were good. And now it looks like it's going to stay back a little bit. So this could be if you're working on a new discipline, if you're working on some practice. Don't be surprised if things go kind of slow. It could be in your health routine or your efforts to get better health. You could come into a point where you've had a lot of progress and then things just seem to slow down. Take it easy. That's all right. Now let's see where that's going to take you. Okay, so your work is paying off. A lot of this excitement and lust you're feeling right now, as it goes through this period of stasis, that's just cooling down naturally into pleasure. Okay? And if you have seen any of my meditation videos in the process of anapanasati, this is a process we go through a lot in meditation, where we bring up a feeling of intense joy, and actually it's even called rapture traditionally. And then that rapture naturally cools down into something usually called bliss. Okay? So we see the same thing with lust. Lust is going through the period of stasis and just cooling down into pleasure. Okay? So our changes, if things are going fairly well right now, you may be coming into a position where you have to fight for your position. So in terms of health, you may have a situation coming up where you're going to have to work to keep yourself strong, okay, mentally or physically. I'm not seeing anything about illness or disease here or failure or anything, but it's a situation where you are going to have to fight for yourself. But this is we're fighting and winning here, okay? So keeping the ground that we've gained, right? And our satiety is transforming into completion. So once again, whereas before we were almost drunk on this lust, now we're just relaxing into a pleasure and a feeling of completion. In terms of mental and physical healing, I can see a few things. If you're out drinking a lot, perhaps a lot of alcohol, now is a good time for you to just cool down with that. Relax a little bit and instead focus on quality of experience. Focus on pleasure, on the quality of the experience, of an uplifting experience, not necessarily keeping your cup full all the time. If you are afflicted with something, you may go through a period where things don't seem to improve. But this is telling you to keep fighting. You're in a process of change, and keep fighting even if it seems like things are not improving. Okay? And turn that beast into an internal happiness as you go through this time of stasis. And just imagine when you have completed your fight against this affliction. Maybe now you're doing everything you can. Picture when you have completed it and know that that point is out there and waiting for you. If you're coming to this regarding love life, just keep it cool for now. You may be overpowered by feelings right now. Again, look at what's important. Look at getting pleasure from the little things, the important things. The things that mean something to you, that identify in your heart. Now the tool we can use in this period is the path between worlds. Elhaz. So this is our tool. I'll just put it here for now. So again, if there's some kind of imbalance going on physically or emotionally right now, look at things that you might be using too much of. You know, again, are you drinking too much, or are you getting dominated by this idea of lust or fear? And let's move those. Use the path between worlds to move. What we're doing is moving from one frame of mind to another. So even though in stasis it appears as if the water is not flowing, it is. The river still is moving. And eventually it's moving out to water the crops. So focus on that process. What is there too much of? What is there not enough of? Now is the time where you can make changes that are going to be good for you. And if it's overcoming some issues or some addictions that you have, you might have to fight for it. But put your trust in the power of change, the power that you can change from one world to another. And then we have mental and physical health. Next is spiritual life. Okay, I'm seeing someone who may feel a bit lost right now. It could be grieving over the death of a loved one, or it could just be lost in a personal change. There's a difficulty and you can't quite find the way out. Another one is you could be coming into a new phase in life, which you could be very happy about, but maybe you still have some scars from your last phase that you're still getting out of. Maybe that's not quite done as you transfer from one life to another. So we have some change and transformation and a bit of difficulty with that process. Coming up, we have split. There's some kind of fork in the road. Let's see what that's going to do. Okay. First of all, one thing, if you're overcoming some kind of pain, some kind of loss, grief, or you're just overcoming an old phase in life. Transform that energy into inspiration to move forward. Okay? This Prince of Wands, here we have air of fire. The air is blowing on the fire, pushing the chariot forward. The fire is strong. Okay? I don't mean transform your pain into anger, but into inspiration. That's the split in the road. Leave the pain, follow the new path that goes to inspiration. Okay? Death is always a transition. We're always moving from one state to another. As you enter into this new state, I want you to focus on making this new state real, making it really happen. Here we have the Knight of Discs. The sun is shining on the field of the earth. The fire is warming the earth, and that's what makes things grow. Okay? Or in my associations, we have compassion onto joy. So what that means is this new phase that you're moving into, be compassionate to that phase and to yourself in that phase. Be compassionate to yourself to grow a future joy of being there. So your split in the road is to stop worrying about the past. Don't worry about what you've gone out of. Don't worry about any pain that you're going through or that you have come from. Turn that pain into inspiration. Not anger, but inspiration. Turn that transformation into focusing not on what came before, which is gone, but to what you're sowing right now. What new practices are you working on spiritually, mentally? What is your new inspiration? Sow that so it happens. As you do that, you're moving through a phase of kind of incubation, So by incubation here, I mean we have the earth of water. We have the creatures starting to evolve and grow in the water. This is an early stage. Okay. Move that into an establishment. So maybe you have some skills that you weren't really using before, that now they can come out. So here maybe we have some ideas that you had lost before as you were focusing on something else. So to move along a little further, let's just see what we're looking at. What's your tool that can help you to go through this change? And this is where we'll use one of the runes. And what we have is Lagas, water of life. Okay. Now things are making a little sense, aren't they? So look at this great water imagery. Here we are right now, coming from a state of the earth of water. Now, we're in a transition, and we're trying to deal with something. It's mental, or it's a loss, or it's a pain. We're dealing with something from the past as we try to transition somewhere else. And we're coming up to a fork in the road, or should I say, a bend in the river. And look at that water image right there. And what helps us is, again, that water of life that we're swimming in right now. That's the inspiration. So, what is the water of life? All water on this earth comes from comets. It comes from hydrogen that was formed deep in space, that was blasted here on rocks of comets and asteroids through space, landing on the earth, which grows into life. So our water of life, it's a fundamental source inside of us of creating new life, and spiritually it's bringing us back from death. So this idea of coming to the source, your eternal source, as you come to this split in the road, remember where you come from. You are a piece of all life. You are a piece of the entire universe. No matter what kind of trials you go through, your source is this water of life that is a hologram, an image of life itself. And use that. Find some inspiration from maybe some work you did before. Maybe it's from a trip you did, or someone you met, or a book you read. You have some kind of inspiration floating around. That's what these swords are representing. There's some idea. There's something flying around here that you can use, probably by combining it with another thing. So we're looking at this split not in terms of really it's dividing, but there's the same waters. Okay, so maybe there's an idea from your old life or from your old phase that you were in, and maybe you can use that idea in a new way. And just remember, all the water has the same source. Okay, so this for me is why I'm totally comfortable in my work mixing symbolism and ideas and practices and philosophies from different traditions, because it all has the same source. That's here in this water of life. It all is coming from the same place. So there could be some inspiration from what you were doing before. And that pain that you feel from whatever it is, or this thing you're having trouble getting over, transform that into inspiration. Everything has the same source. Transform it into inspiration and sow those seeds. Sow the seeds of that idea and watch it in the future coming into fruition. Don't expect it to now, okay? We're just creating it now. But let that next step, sow that next step. You're starting some new phase. And remember, we take everything that happened before. It's all still there. Okay, it's all still inside, and it's all the same water. So don't be afraid of the change. And don't worry about the past. That blood that flows inside of you is the water that gives life in the oceans. Is this water that established life on earth. Flows in every stream, even if the stream forks and splits off. It's all the same water. Come to grips with that and make a truce between the truths is between temporality, situationalism, and eternity. That's the truce that we're making here. And that's the lesson of death and cruelty. Use that lesson. Grow. Look at this. The warrior, our knight, he's growing wheat on the battlefield. He's pulled the helmet back. He's turning the battlefield into something fresh, growing wheat. He's stopped fighting. So use that inspiration. Turn that pain into power to keep going. If you were confused before, go back to the source. There's something in there waiting for you, and that's going to come out and inspire you in a bunch of new directions in the future, and we can't even see what those are yet. So again, I'll just show it real quick. Okay. There we have spiritual life. We've come to fortune. So let's seek our fortune. Okay, now maybe you have some things going on. Maybe you're feeling pretty good, but there could be a feeling of some things just aren't working out. Or there could be a feeling that the good days are already behind you. Something like that. So you're working on something. You're working on something. And you're putting new ideas forth. But there's this kind of idea that we're kind of beyond the good days. How am I going to get this water of life back? Like it's tainted now. That's what we're seeing here. Okay. So it's a feeling like, yeah, I'm trying, but maybe I missed it, you know. I'm putting everything here. We've got power of the sun and the moon combined. This is a great card. But there's this feeling as if, oh, maybe I missed my chance, or my luck's run out, or the party's over, but I'm still hanging around. But let's see what we got coming up. Let's try to figure out how to turn this our way. Exchange. Okay, exchange. This is an oracle bone. Let's just see where this goes. Let's see where this is going. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Look at the visual similarity of the pictures here. This is the kind of thing I love. These, you know, seemingly coincidental visual similarities. Look at that. We're talking here about something that, in one way, we might call it a alchemical process. We're taking something old, maybe this luck that's run out, or the party that's over, or the boat we missed, whatever it is. We're taking something that we're kind of done with. We're exchanging it. We're trading it in and transforming it into something new. Our works turns into the art of mixing. It turns into this art of creating a new thing. I don't see this as strength turning to futility, although watch for that coming up. I don't have that feeling because this, if this was strife, I might have that feeling, but it's strength. What I have the feeling is turn the strength into a power to guard against your enemies or those who might stop you. The one sword fights off the other six here. Okay, so let's turn that strength into power, being fixed. An old missed opportunity is turning into a new one. Something that may have seemed negative at the time, or a loss that we experienced, is leading the way to, I'm not going to say it's an opportunity to get rich. It's an opportunity for knowledge, though. That's what I have this feeling. We have an opportunity for knowledge. We have an opportunity to cut away the old things Okay, maybe you had a downslide in fortune a while ago. So you have a chance, use the internal strength that you have. You have a chance to just get rid of the negative feelings from that. They are futile because feelings from the past, especially negative ones, they are futile. Don't take them with you. Don't transform them. Transform your own awareness. Negative things about the past, leave them. Use the strength that you have established from the past to go beyond anything that may stand in your way. Okay, so there's some kind of missed opportunity. It's an old, I don't know if it's a person so much as it's a situation. Some kind of old situation that was missed or lost, or its time was done. There's a chance to weave that into potentially knowledge, or could be inspiration, or there could be a chance to turn that into something we can use now. So even though you're working hard now and it seems like things aren't going your way, there's something in here. You could trade some old baggage into something new. So let's go to the final card. Let's go to the rune and see how to do that. Okay. Cause and effect per throw. And if you are knowing how to pronounce the runes well, I apologize for the terrible pronunciation. Cause and effect, interesting. Karma. You can see there's a guy sitting here with his legs up, and his arms up. What we did down here affects what we do up here. It's as above, so below. There's a straight line from cause to effect. Now isn't that perfect? And look at that in our exchange. Okay. So there's something that happened. It probably just went its natural way. When it was over, or something you missed, or, like we said. But let's use the karma from that and weave it into something new. This star is all about transformation, and so is art. Okay, this is all about, we're transforming this energy of the stars, we're pouring it down into the earth. Okay, this is about, and here we're mixing, we're creating something new in this alchemical pot. So this is all about taking something old, exchange it. Move forward with karma. There's something that you worked on before. Maybe you did someone a favor. Maybe you did a good job somewhere. Maybe there's something that you had done before where you have a bit more to get out of that. It could be knowledge, it could be opportunities, I don't know what it is. There's something from before, from a time that seems as if it's over, but there's something that you can trade in here that's going to help you out. You've got a little bit of good karma in some kind of unlikely place. Okay, and you're working hard, you're getting stronger. Use that. Fend yourself off. Keep yourself strong. Keep yourself safe. Those works that you're doing, let's mix. Let's let our karma move. Let's move into a new situation. Let's see what flows out. Use cause and effect to your advantage. There is something good you have from a situation in the past that looked like it was over. There's something untapped where you can trade a negative experience or seemingly finished experience for some new inspiration. And And that's because of the law of cause and effect. As above, so below. Okay? What you reap, you sow. Cause and effect. Okay. And there we have fortune. So I want to thank you for joining me for Pick a Card, and I hope I see you next time. If you like what I'm doing here, leave a comment and subscribe, and we also have some meditations and other great things on the channel, so check those out, and I'll see you next time.